Welcome to the day one of Reset, National Food Loss and Waste Dialogues 2025. I'm Nitya and I am the Program Manager, Food Loss and Waste at WRI India, and I'll be your host for this session, Plated with Purpose, Kitchen Strategies to Reduce Food Waste. This session basically brings together leading chefs to share how kitchen innovations, staff practices, and menu design can cut food waste without compromising on taste. Through their stories, we'll explore practical strategies from zero waste recipes to creative reuse. And the session will conclude with an interactive Q&A with the audience, where you'll have the opportunity to directly engage with the panelists. Before we dive into the discussion, we are thrilled to launch WRI India's Consumer Awareness Toolkit on Food Waste Reduction for HoReCa sector, hotel, restaurants and catering sector. This ready-to-use resource is designed to help hotels, restaurants, and caterers engage diners in reducing food waste. By providing practical communication tools, it encourages consumers to take small actions that make every meal an opportunity for sustainability. To showcase this toolkit and demonstrate how these tools can drive real change, I invite my colleague, Ms. Shweta Prajapati, Program Lead Communications at WRI India. Shweta?
Hey everyone, very delighted and very excited to present something that has been close to our hearts for last 6 months with you. And so just before I start presenting and start talking about the toolkit more, just a little context at what exactly this toolkit is. And I'll just So this toolkit, like Nitya mentioned, that this is a basket of practical communication tools that can support hotels, restaurants, cafes, different kinds of food establishments in engaging with their consumers and helping them or nudging them towards a zero food waste behavior while they eat out within external food premises. So actually, when we were looking at the key stakeholders, and we all understand consumers is the most critical stakeholder when it comes to food waste behaviors. And but at the same time, trying to understand segment by segment, which kind of consumers are we trying to reach. So therein, with that understanding, and when we started talking to a lot of HoReCa representatives, and experts, we realized that consumers can be categorized into various ways. One can be consumers who are ordering food in-house using online delivery apps like Zomato, Swiggy and other platforms. One can be consumers who are stepping out to eat at restaurants, cafes and those kind of food establishments. And one can be consumers who are of course cooking at home inside their kitchens and serving meals on the table. So this particular toolkit is basically catered or designed to designed for consumers who are eating outside in external premises, and how can they be nudged towards a zero food waste behavior. And the toolkit basically is aimed at supporting HoReCa businesses with ready-to-use adaptable communication materials. So the tools that you will be seeing in a while as part of this toolkit basically can be adapted in multiple languages. We can scale it up while we can translate this into multiple languages. And also, I keep saying basket of tools. Why? Because the things that we have developed here, not all hotels or not all restaurants are expected, and it's not feasible for them to implement all the tools at their own inside their halls or lobbies or dining halls. But everyone can pick up something that works for them. So demonstrating a replicable solution that can be adapted by other cities, sectors or regions to tackle food waste in the HoReCa industry. So this is more like a small step towards this direction. And this step, very thankful to a lot of people who have inputted in designing or structuring this toolkit for us. We have spoken to a lot of HoReCa representatives across Delhi, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh to understand how different tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities consumers behave, what are the hotspots or critical points where we can, critical points of display that can work inside particular premises, and what kind of tools can work or not work. So all of this is a culmination of a lot of brains put together, and we've also had an opportunity to validate and test out the structure of this toolkit with a group of I think more than 30 Horeca representatives who also gave us a lot of good inputs and suggestions on this. So moving forward and sharing more, we've used a humor-based approach to develop all of this, and also keeping in mind positive reinforcement as a communication approach. No shaming, no naming, but just championing or highlighting people who are able to practice zero food waste behaviors, and also establishing food waste reduction as an aspirational act, making it cool, trendy, making it a desirable act in the society. That's what we've tried to do, and without much delay. But I hope the sound is connected. Just a second. No, okay, the sound is not connected. Should I? Nope. Sorry. Actually, the sound is important. That's why.
Thoughtful. थाली भर के ना लो ज्यादा, जो लो वो पूरा खाना, बच गया तो घर ले जाना, बाकी सबको भी समझाना। थॉटफुल बाइट्स, सोच सही, प्लेट क्लीन हो, वेस्ट नहीं। थॉटफुल बाइट्स, सोच सही, प्लेट क्लीन हो, वेस्ट नहीं। थॉटफुल बाइट्स, सोच सही, वेस्ट नहीं।
So why this sound was important is because, sorry, why this sound was important is because this is a jingle that we have created, and a lot of cafes and hotels express their interest to play something like this at their venues, that we can keep playing something. If you can develop something like this, we can keep playing in the background in the entrance area or something. Also, when there are large size gatherings or social events, there with the permission of certain consumers, if they allow and if they prefer, they are okay playing these kind of. So the idea was to develop something catchy, something which we can get hooked on. So that's the jingle. I am just going to play the last item from the toolkit, and the toolkit is up there for the display at our exhibition stall. So please visit. The last item is a small informative AV.
क्या आप जानते हैं कि भारत का हर व्यक्ति अपने घर में करीब 55 किलो खाना हर साल वेस्ट करता है, यानी टोटल 78.2 मिलियन टन्स खाना वेस्ट। इतना वेस्टेड खाना मतलब हमारी सोसाइटी और एनवायरनमेंट दोनों के लिए नुकसान। एक तरफ अफोर्डेबल न्यूट्रिशियस खाना हम तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहा, दूसरी तरफ वही खाना लैंडफिल्स में सड़ता है और पर्यावरण को दूषित करता है। प्रॉब्लम तो बड़ी है, पर सॉल्यूशंस आसान और छोटे हैं, जो हम और आप सब कर सकते हैं। सोच के खाना मंगाओ, जितना मंगाया पूरा खाओ, बच जाए तो पैक करवाओ। क्या आप बनोगे एक सच्चे जीरो फूड वेस्ट चैंपियन?
So I'll stop here. Happy to receive any comments, any suggestions. This is a toolkit 1.0, and we are happy to take more ideas and inputs on this. Yes, Seema. Thank you for that idea and suggestion. I actually look forward to these kind of ideas more because I know we have experts in house who will be able to kind of pitch in with more ideas and suggestions on this. This is just a small step that we have taken in this direction, but feel free to give us more ideas and also on implementing or scaling this toolkit. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll stop here and hand it over to Nitya.
I have a feeling that jingle is going to stay with me. I'll probably be humming it all day. So, okay, so now we move to the heart of the panel discussion. Our moderator today is Ms. Rituja Basu, Program Head, Food Loss and Waste, WRI India, and our esteemed panelists are Chef Anahita, Chef and author of Parsi Kitchen, Chef Chetak Goyal, Executive Chef, Hotel Sandal Suites, Chef Divas Vadera, Executive Chef, Eros Hotel, Chef Ilvika, Research and Business Development Head, Malacca Spices, Chef Gunjan, Founder, Gunjan's Kitchen, and Mr. Piyush Kulati, Managing Director, Veg Kulati and Desert Gallery. I now request all our panelists and the moderator to please come on the dais and let's have a discussion.
Interesting because we can learn a lot about food, how to prepare food, how to make sure we minimize food waste through strategies from experts. I'm thrilled to be moderating this panel, and I cannot thank the chefs enough for taking out time from their very busy lives to join us. This is a very new perspective to the dialogue around food systems, which we believe is critical because the strategies and the innovations that are already curated by all of you and the ones that can be leveraged from your expertise into our home kitchens as well as smaller food outlets is a critical need of the hour. So without wasting any more time, I will jump right in to the questions because I'm sure there'll be a lot of audience questions also for the chefs. So my first question is to Chef Anahita Dhoni. Chef, as part of the Chef's Manifesto under SDG 2, which is around zero hunger, from your experience in being part of that exercise, what role can kitchen strategies play towards SDG 12.3, which talks about halving food waste, global per capita food waste by 50%?
So thank you so much for having me on this panel, and good afternoon, everyone. Just a little bit, I am Anahita Dhoni. I'm a chef and an author. I have been in the culinary space for almost 15 years now. I think as a chef, our primary goal is always कि हमें अच्छा खाना देना है customer को, and it's always back to back. It's super busy. In chef language, there's always bhasad happening in the kitchen. And I think a lot of things get overlooked because you're so busy, and your primary goal is to make sure that your customer is having a great meal, a great experience, great flavors, and you want to focus on the recipe. And I think that has been the primary act of a chef. And even for me in the beginning, when I started Soda Bottle Opnawala, that was the primary act that, first couple of years, we were just making sure that everything is being executed perfectly. After a couple of years, I realized certain things, and you start noticing these little things in the kitchen. Ki gobi kat raha hai, to uski danthal puri pheki ja rahi hai. Or, if you're using any ingredient, you're not using it completely because your actions are so quick. And you want to quickly churn food. So I think that gets very overlooked, and I know it happens in the industry because, it's a very fast-paced industry. But when things settle a little bit, that's when I realized two things. One is that there was a certain amount of food loss and waste that was happening. And the second thing was we didn't have enough biodiversity in the kitchen because we weren't using, the beautiful amount of ingredients that India has and Indian cuisine has. So I felt like we were only focusing on, a few ingredients, the typical crops that, are growing and being consumed. So those were two aspects that I started working on, and that's when I connected to the Chef's Manifesto. Again, to give you a little context, what is the Chef's Manifesto? It's basically a group of chefs which have created a manifesto for chefs. So it's basically chefs from all over the world coming together and sharing their ideas. For example, there's a chef in Ireland who talks very passionately about zero waste, and he shares his ideas, what he's doing in his kitchen, and he's written a book, and now that might help me. So it's a beautiful community of chefs, and we keep exchanging ideas, and we work on SDG 2, which is zero hunger. In that, we have different key areas where we work. So if I am passionate about zero waste or biodiversity, these are two regions. Someone else might be passionate about livelihoods or caring about where their vendors or where their food comes from, or protecting wildlife, oceans, zero waste cooking, like we're talking nose to tail eating or farm to fork. So there are different parts of the Chef's Manifesto which you can work on and contribute. And that's how we work on zero hunger and the SDG 2. So what I have started doing, especially since I've been part of the Chef's Manifesto since 2018, we have exchanged ideas, and we have been talking about our focus and key areas. And that's where the learning has happened. And a lot of that learning I showcase that on Instagram with two major things. One is, of course, different ideas about protecting recipes. And secondly, about how you can reduce food waste at home and in the kitchens. So some of those ideas, maybe, we can discuss it a little later. I can give some examples as well, which can be followed by people here. But yeah, this is how the journey's been, and I am honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, thank you. I'm sure the audience will be very excited to get those tips, and we'll come to them. Moving to Chef Chetak Goel, in your professional kitchen operations, what are the biggest food waste hotspots that you have observed, whether in procurement, preparation stage, storage, or plate waste? And there's a next part. What are the strategies that you are adopting towards reducing that?
Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me here. And indeed, it was busy operations for me today. But I must say, I'm from a farmer family, and I am into the business of food only. So what I have seen when I used to be with my grandmother, we used to, वो चक्की में हम आटा पीसते थे, गेहूँ पीसते थे, गेहूँ हमारे पास रहता था, और हम लोग मतलब फील्ड पे जाके वी यूज़ टू गेट द क्रॉप्स फ्रेश. मतलब ऐसा रेयरली होता था कि कोई चीज़ हम खरीदते थे, like dry chili, even a turmeric, और making chips at the home. और वो हम नूडल्स वगैरह जैसे हम बनाते हैं ना, सेवई जिसको हम बोलते हैं, वो सब हम लोग घर पे बनाते थे. और हमको मालूम था कि उसका प्रोसेस क्या है, बारिश में क्या बनेगा, गर्मियों में क्या बनेगा. तो फूड वेस्ट वो पेन होता था हमारे लिए, क्योंकि आई रिमेंबर इन 80s देयर वर यूज टू नो लाइट्स आफ्टर 7 or 8. तो एक सबका टाइम फिक्स था कि दिस टाइम यू हैव टू ईट, दिस टाइम यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर, एंड यू हैव टू गेट बैक टू योर होम इफ़ यू वांट टू हैव अ फूड. तो फूड की वैल्यू सबको मालूम थी. अभी क्या हो गया, द टाइम हैज़ गॉट चेंज, एवरीथिंग इज़ रेडीमेड. यू जस्ट गो टू द मार्केट एंड बाय अ प्रोडक्ट, यू oven it or you cook it, and there's evenly they promote it, 2 minutes you can have the food. So the pain of farmer has gone away from the mind of today's kids and today's generation. तो वो एक चीज़ लेके आना बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है पूरी जनरेशन के अंदर. और मैं बहुत सारे गेस्ट से बात करता हूँ. सो व्हेन आई एम सीइंग दे आर ईटिंग द फूड, तो मैं मोस्टली उनको ये देखता हूँ कि व्हेन आई एम ईटिंग द फूड आई ईट ऑलवेज when everything got settled up like breakfast or a lunch, because that is the time when I'm free of my mind. तो मैं काफ़ी सारे गेस्ट को देखता हूँ, they take so many food out of the buffet and then they choose what they have to eat. तो when I ask them question कि don't you think that it's going to be waste, तो बोले मेरे डाइटिशियन ने बोला कि उतना ही खाओ जितना खा सकते हो. तो मैंने डाइटिशियन ने ये नहीं बोला कि उतना ही लो जितना खा सकते हो, तो बोला ये नहीं बोला. तो वी हैव बिकम अ मशीन्स रादर देन अ फिलोसफी कनेक्टेड टू आवर रूट्स. मतलब जो चीज़ हमारे पास है हम उसको खोते जा रहे हैं, और ये नई चीज़ है जो हमको सीखनी पड़ रही है इन करंट 21st सेंचुरी. तो ये हमारे पास थी, हम ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई ऐसी नई चीज़ के ऊपर बात कर रहे हैं. इट इज़ इन आवर ब्लड. अगर हमें थोड़ा सा अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स से बात करनी पड़ेगी, द वे दे हैव ग्रोन अप इन देयर लाइफ एंड हाउ दे आर डूइंग इट. मतलब हमें इतना मालूम है कि शाम को अगर हमको बाजरा या मकई या कुछ भी बनाना है तो दिन में दादी माँ के साथ लगना पड़ेगा या फील्ड पे जाके सब्ज़ी लानी पड़ेगी. वी हैव ग्रोन इट, वी हैव नो द पेन. वो ट्रैक्टर्स चलाना और कैसे मीन्स दे वर्क एंड लुक एट द स्काई कि आज रेन ज़्यादा ना हो या रेन कम हो. तो वो सब चीज़ें जब तक अंदर से नहीं होंगी वी कैन नॉट स्टॉप थिंग्स. मैं अपनी टीम को भी यही बोलता हूँ कि मैं अपनी टीम को भी यही बोलता हूँ कि यू नो बाय सेविंग सम फूड यू कैन फीड समबडी हु इज़ लुकिंग एट द स्काई फॉर द फूड. तो इट्स नॉट अ मीन्स समथिंग यू सेव फॉर योर होटल और यू नो सेव द कॉस्ट, इट इज़ फॉर द कम्युनिटी ऑल्सो. छोटी सी सोच है पर बहुत ज़्यादा फ़र्क पड़ता है.
Thank you. Thank you, chef. Just a follow-up. In your kitchen, where, like in a professional kitchen, where is the biggest hotspot? Is it at preparation, storage?
नहीं, देखिए क्या होता है कि being a leader in the kitchen, you have to be always be a role model. जब तक आप उसके ऊपर नहीं बोलेंगे तो nobody will care about it. आज के कोविड के बाद क्या हो गया ना, they see somebody who is taking the pain. It's not just about sitting in the office and delivering your message or order. You have to be on the shop floor, you have to be vigil, you have to create SOPs जो मेरे पास हैं. मैं एवरी डे बाय एनी हाउ आई वॉन्ट टू हैव अ मैसेज इन द ग्रुप कि आज हमारे पास कितने गेस्ट हैं इन हाउस, कितने उसमें से दे आर गोइंग टू टेक अ बुफे एंड हाउ मैनी आर देयर हु कैन टेक अ ऑर्डर, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बैंक्वेट्स वी आर हैविंग. अगर अच्छा जैसे बीच में भी हमारा सावन लाइक मंथ हमारा गया, सो वी हैव मिनिमाइज द नॉन वेज ऑर्डर्स एंड सो वी हैव मिनिमाइज द थिंग्स विच कनेक्टेड टू इट्स कुकिंग. तो जब तक आप वो माइंड अच्छा. सेकेंडली आई ऑलवेज कीप एन आई ऑन माई वेस्टेज ऑल्सो. लाइक एवरी डे आई हैव अ वीडियोज दैट व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन देयर. आई डू अ you know surprise audit to the dustbins also because they are the biggest fear to create in a kitchen कि हाँ ये कभी भी आके चेक कर सकते हैं. nothing should go waste and कम बनाओ कोई बात नहीं. गेस्ट बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, they wait for also. अगर आप उनको बोलेंगे at least allow 10 minutes they understand. तो वो थोड़ा सा you have to be on the floor and keep your all senses open, तभी हो पाएगा.
Planned inventory management.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving to Chef Divas Vadhera, Executive Chef Eros. Chef, have you noticed any difference in waste levels between the different formats of food serving, like a buffet versus a la carte, or self-serve versus served food?
Thank you very much for bringing me to this panel, and I am very happy to see quite old friends and colleagues together on this
We are
panel.
meeting after 21 years.
So thank you, Chef Chetak. Ma'am, yes, the trends have changed, and we are changing every day. If it comes to hotels, we have the biggest responsibilities on our head. The cap is not only about showcasing that we are the chefs, we are the leaders. The cap is all about that how big the responsibility is. I mean, when I joined this career, we were hardly having this much amount of exposures, but today it has 360 turnaround when it comes to food wastage only. Not only WRI, but there are several other programs and several other organizations, those who are kicking on to control the wastages of the food. If we talk about FASAI, they themselves implement so many rules strictly to follow so that we can control the wastages. In my kitchen, every day the dustbin is measured before it goes outside the hotel. So I am not saying it just for the heck of saying it on this platform, but we maintain this as a practice because this is legal guidance now. So it is not about an individual who can choose to follow some good practices or not. It is now mandatory. The reason is we all understand how important it is. When it comes to buffet, we have a different mental approach. Yes, we believe in that. Stock up the buffet, keep it on a higher side so that the consumption would be high. We are having 100 people, those who are coming in. As rightly mentioned by Chef Chetak, that we have to plan accordingly as per the needs, as per the clientele, as per the crowd coming to the hotel. If we see that there is any festival around wherein people would be fasting or people would be restricting themselves from the non-vegetarian food or food without onion and garlic, so we keep a close eye and connect on controlling them. This has several paces to go backward. Every day morning, whenever a chef comes to the hotel, his first and foremost criteria is to see how many guests are inside the hotel and what is the crowd, where is the crowd landing up. Are they landing up to the restaurants which are serving buffet, or they are landing up to the restaurants which are doing a la carte. When it comes to self-service, yes, our staff, we treat them like guests also. So even the staff cafeteria at Eros, we call it Annapurna. Even at Annapurna, we keep a close eye on wastage. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हमारे पास कंप्लेंट आती है, खाना नहीं मिला, ख़त्म हो गया था. मैं बहुत खुश होता हूँ दिल से, क्योंकि वेस्टेज होने से अच्छा है कि ख़त्म हो गया. प्लीज़ अंडरस्टैंड, every penny saved is a penny earned, and we believe in that. अगर आप statistically figures देखेंगे तो दिल्ली 13,000 टन फूड वेस्ट करता है, which is very high as a volume. और हमारे प्लेटर पे सबसे बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ये आती है. पर यहाँ पर मुझे गवर्नमेंट से सपोर्ट भी चाहिए होगा. आई कैन मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट ओवर हेयर, बिकॉज देर इज़ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्ट्रक्चर्ड एंड अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड मार्केट. Structured market like hotels, we take our responsibilities, we take a step forward to inculcate all the initiatives. Like Chef Anaita ne abhi bataya कि she is coming to a platform wherein she is taking best practices from the global chefs, and we are trying to inculcate them into our daily processes. But what about the unstructured market? Unstructured market has such a views towards not only the recipes, towards the ingredient, but towards दी वेस्टेज ऑल्सो. अगर आप देखेंगे ट्रेंडिंग के नाम पर वो एक मोमोज को कुछ भी करके आज जो है ना मार्केट में सर्व हो रहा है, जबकि वो अपनी ओरिजिनल ऑथेंटिसिटी से बहुत दूर चला गया है. सो देर आर सो मेनी कैंपेन्स विच वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. ईट राइट इंडिया है हमारा. देन वी हैव, I mean, the access to the knowledge is not very difficult in today's world, but then it depends on the individual how you utilize it into your day-to-day operations. Hotels, we try to give our best contribution towards it. All food which is waste in hotel, or say about leftover food, it goes into the bin. It's been segregated into dry and wet, and then it goes to the biomethane plant. This hotel practice this. Biomethane gas is being created from there, which is again utilized to cook the food. So the hotels, as I was telling, we try our level best to do every bit to save. But then the unstructured market, the unstructured area, we need to really focus on it. And wherein I would appreciate that the jingle was perfect, because it could set the mind right, even if somebody who is not having the access to the tools like internet or something, or click away, the jingle can play an important role over there, and such initiatives should be multiplied into humongous manner. So I totally support it. Even we can make a ringtone out of it, so that while working in the kitchens, the team can also listen, the colleagues can also listen. If you are traveling in metro, people can listen to the ringtone, and maybe we can educate anybody and everybody wherever we are traveling. So जब मैं छोटा था तो when I was in school, we had a campaign called Each One Teach One. So I think this is the most appropriate way. Each one teach one, and the India can become a better, rather than becoming a polluted capital, Delhi could become a conservative capital. We can save so much onto the food waste. So as a chefs, I think we have lot much under our belt. Thank you.
Thank you. Very critical points, and it's heartening to know that measurement is happening around food waste at your establishment and at several other establishments. Very much appreciate your appreciation of our jingle. Our toolkit is only as good as the adoption of it is. So if any of you would want to adopt it in your own premises, it's an open access toolkit. We would be very, very happy to share the same.
Definitely,
Yeah.
ma'am. Definitely.
Thank you. I'll move to Ilvika next. Ilvika, what role do you think training and technology can play towards reducing kitchen wastages?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ilvika. I think I'm going to take a cue from everybody and do a little introduction as well. My name is Ilvika Chandavarkar. I'm a part of a restaurant group in Pune called Malaka Spice, and we're a Southeast Asian restaurant that's been around for a long time. But keeping in mind food wastage and how we want to source our ingredients, we've also got our own farm where we grow a lot of our ingredients, and that's where a lot of our training and processes have kind of come into place when it comes to treating our waste. So I'll explain that a little further. So you mentioned training and technology, right? I think training is where all of this comes back down to. Just to give you all a very real example of what we are currently doing in our own restaurant. we have a cost control mantrayalaya that we've started, okay? And every member in our team, they're completely voluntary. They've decided that they're going to control one aspect of this. And food wastage is one of the things that we're all looking at. Just attention in the last, let's say, 3 weeks to 1 month has cut down our wastage both in the kitchen, that's when people are processing ingredients, to staff food wastage by about, let's say, 100 kgs, right, in the entire month. I know it's maybe small steps. We do have to do a lot better. But it kind of was an inspiration from the little talk that we had in Pune some time ago. And that, I think, so one aspect, of course, is making your team aware that this is a problem that we need to control. The second aspect, I think I can split into, since I'm not a chef, but I kind of look at things from both sides, right? Service as well as the kitchen. One aspect which we keep on training our team is, of course, knife skills in the kitchen. I remember when I was a trainee, I had started off my career with, not really my career, but let's say my training in the Western in Pune. And I still remember that the chef who was in charge of the guard manager would come down when I was trying to peel a kiwi with a knife, right? I'm very bad with my knife skills, I hate it. But, I was trying to peel it and I kind of wasted a little bit of that fruit. And he pointed it out to me and I was petrified at that point of time. And he's just like, you can't be wasting this, right? And he would come every day and check the kiwi, every single day until I got it right? I think that makes a big impact. Chef Chetak mentioned checking dustbins. If your senior chef is coming along and checking your dustbins and you know he's going to come and do that, or she's going to come and do that, you're going to make sure that you're not wasting as much, like cabbage stalks or tomato. So that's one aspect of it that comes into the kitchen. Better planning is one thought process as well. When you have a good forecast system and you're using your POS or your point of sale correctly, and you can kind of understand, and you might have linked it to your reservation systems, you know that, okay, these are the number of people that are going to be coming in today. Like that's what chef mentioned as well, right? A chef comes in and checks how many guests are coming in. That's another very important process. It helps you to understand, okay, how many portions do I need to make of a particular item for the day. But I would also like to link this away from the kitchen and to service. In service, when a team knows, one, how to suggest to the guests coming in what portion size to kind of enjoy. Like, you want to do maybe like a large or a small portion, which is what a lot of standalones are adopting across, right? And like we at Malacca Spice have a just right, which is just 4 pieces of an item, or a feast mode, which is because we have a lot of big families coming in, and you say, okay, 8 pieces of something. So that really has started to make an impact on our guests' food wastage. And another thing is being in tune with the chef and really understanding what do they need to upsell for that day. We're doing a wild food festival initiative right now in Malacca Spice, and we're getting these ingredients from the Western Ghats. They're very seasonal. We're not preserving them in any way. They have a shelf life, right? They're perishable products. If your floor team is not really pushing them to the guest or suggesting them properly, you're going to have a problem. And that's when wastage really comes in. So training for these 4 key aspects is one really important part, I think, in terms of getting people to understand food wastage in the restaurant space.
Thank you. Very critical points. And as consumers, it is very challenging for us to understand how much of food is there in a particular plate. We do see a lot of calorific values now being given in the menu, but for people who are not that much into health and weight practice, understanding that and translating it into does it serve to what does it serve for, because it becomes a challenge. So it's great to know that at Malacca Spices this is started, and we have also observed it across in many other restaurants. Next I move to Piyush. As part of running your restaurant for the past several decades, has there been any cultural or customer expectations shift that makes it harder to control food waste? And what are some of the strategies that you have applied to reduce them?
Hi, my name is Piyush Gulati, and I'm the 3rd generation in the business. And also I'm an alumni of IHM Pusa. So coming to the point that you've asked, so there is customer expectation and cultural expectation there, because food and hospitality is very like connected, deeply connected, in the sense that the more food you serve on the table, or the more food there is, they connect, like people connect that with love and care. Like more you serve, the more love there is, or more you're caring for them. So that is one point. The other is whenever people are ordering food, they tend to over order. So what we have trained our service staff is that you tell them that according to the group size, this is over ordering. So you can order some portion right now and we can get more later on. So that is one point. The second very small thing is that the accompaniments that are on the table in an Indian restaurant like chutney achar, we used to serve that in a 200 ml bowl. Now we've started that in a 100 ml bowl because of so much wastage over there in the. So we only like refill it when the customer is asking for it, not just refilling and keeping it on the table and throwing it later on.
Very interesting. I think yes, we do. We do have a bad practice of wasting condiments, which we need to be a little bit more aware of. Moving to Chef Gunjan. Traditionally, zero waste recipes were common in the Indian cultural heritage. Something that is now being lost with changing consumer behavior and faster pace of lives. Could you highlight a few ways in which we could all reduce food waste in our kitchens?
Okay, hello everyone. As she said about the Indian kitchen, well, I do practice Indian gastronomy. I've been trained in somewhat, you can say, the Ayurveda style of cooking. So for that, I feel, as they say, charity begins at home. So the first practice we should do is to start from our own house. And for me, it's very important to inculcate all these habits in children more than anything else, because this is how they grow up. This is when they see, when the child sees something which has been practiced at home, he carries it and he takes it for a longer time. And probably I learned all this in my own house, because when I saw my mother cooking, when I saw my grandmother cooking, when somebody said about, who said about the cauliflower? You. So let me tell you, in the Indian style of cooking, whenever you cook a cauliflower, you cook the stem, minus the, side leaves. You cook everything in the cauliflower. Just to tell you that, I didn't mean to say that you did anything, but this was always been a style of the Punjabi style of cooking.
And it is called dantal. Yeah. It is called dantal, which is even more tastier than the cauliflower.
Actually. Yes, true. So that's what I say, coming back to the point. You asked me for the Indian style of recipe. Yes?
Something that we can all take back to reduce waste in our kitchens.
Okay, I'll start with a quote from Bhagavad Gita. There's a story that when the Pandavas and Draupadi was in exile, they used to cook their own food, and they would only be able to cook as much they were able to collect, whether it was to their satisfying their appetite or not, but they were only allowed that much of a diet. So once Draupadi had just finished her cooking, and she had wounded up her kitchen, when Krishna enters the kitchen and says, "Is there any food for me?" So she says, "No, I'm done. I have nothing. I'll cook something fresh for you." So he says, "Go back to your pot and see." So she finds 2 grains of rice. And she says, "All I have is this to serve you." So Krishna says, "Ye 2 दाने चावल के देंगे मुझे सुख मन माना." So that means that even a small grain that she was wasting had a place and importance in anyone's life. So that is what I always tell the children, that there is no harm. You're not going to be ashamed if you clean it, your plate with a piece of roti or with a spoon. Why are you wasting that 2 grains of rice? So I always want to tell and want to share with everyone, please teach your children. It's very important. And that's how they're going to be the finest citizens of India. And regarding a recipe, I still remember my mother making this. She used to, you were the one to say you grind the roti and the atta in the house. So जो husk होता था गेहूं का, जिससे हम finer roti बनाते थे, my mother used to cook that in jaggery and make a barfi out of it. And this was called sukhdi in Gujarat. It's still very popular and one of the finest and the healthiest barfi one can have. Imagine you're having jaggery, you're having ghee, and you're having high fiber. What is the husk? It is the outer line of the wheat, which the doctors and the dietitians are recommending you that this is what you should eat to flush out all your dirt from the stomach and to clean your intestines. So recipes like this are endless. I can go on, but I've been instructed by the gentleman there. I have only 2 minutes. If you want, I can share the recipes little later.
Absolutely, I'm sure, and I'm sure people will come up to you right after the session as well. Moving to you, Anahita, what are some of the most effective kitchen level practices that you have implemented to reduce waste in your kitchens, and what can we take home from it?
So I think everyone has contributed such great points, and just to add on to that, chefs are important because they are the ones right in the middle of the consumer and the farmer. There is also a government initiative currently happening to increase the cost of soybean because the soybean farmers are not getting good price for their farm produce. And I've been working with the government to introduce tofu and more soybean products. So similarly, I feel as chefs, that role is very important because you are the one who will be able to package a beautiful product, use your creativity and share it to the customer. As soon as the customer tries that, they'll be like, oh, this is interesting, I can also make it at home. And that's how all of us get inspired to cook at home. So I'll just share a few of these practices that we've seen in the kitchen. And it's always happened that when I also look into the dustbin and I realize ki ye kyun phek rahe hain hum. And that's when the chef's creativity kind of gets in. Now I'll give you an example of the bar. Now in the bar, you'll always see that one person is also always squeezing nimbu and वो सारे छिलके फेंके जाते हैं. मतलब kgs of chilka gets thrown every day, and you can ask any chef or anyone from any restaurants. I saw that and I was like, why are we throwing this away? Every time with staff food we order pickles. Why don't we take all this nimbu, and we actually made an achar in the kitchen, itna bada box, and we kept it, and that was used for staff food. Imagine like 20 kgs of just lemon peels which have good amount of juice and fiber and pulp, because वो बस एक दो बार squeeze करते हैं, they don't squeeze it properly because they're in such a rush. So like I'm saying, because the kitchens and bars, because of the kind of volume that we do, everyone is always in a rush and these things get overlooked. So you need to have someone in place to go and check these things and be like, okay, let's do this. मतलब ये waste हो रहा है, but इससे हम क्या करें, उसमें chef की creativity आ जाती है. Another example, आलू, वी यूज टू डू वड़ा पाव, kgs, एवरी डे 10 किलो आलू उबलते थे. अब वो पड़े रहते थे. इफ द गाय वुड नॉट पील इट इन टाइम, व्हेन यू हैव थोड़ा ठंडा आलू, व्हेन यू आर पीलिंग इट ऑफ, लिटिल बिट ऑफ द आलू ऑल्सो स्टिक्स टू द स्किन, इफ यू गाइज नो. सो वॉट वी यूज टू डू इज, हम जानबूझ के उसको थोड़ा ठंडा करते थे. वी यूज टू रिमूव द स्किन एंड यूज टू कीप ऑल दो स्किन्स, और उसको हम बेसन बैटर में फ्राई करके चाय के साथ सबको नमक मसाले के साथ खिला देते थे. सो अगेन देयर वाज नथिंग वेस्टेड फ्रॉम दैट. सो दीज आर लाइक 2 examples. Even with the dantal, we started cutting the dantal and chopping it and putting into fried rice because it was so nice. It gives a lovely crunch. Even broccoli stems can be used into fried rice. Even the leaves are not wasted because the leaves can be pickled or fermented. So I feel as a chef, it's our duty and responsibility to use our techniques wherever we can. I understand that we're all very busy, but wherever we can implement it. There are numerous ideas that you can find. These are just a few that I thought that would be helpful, and I'm happy to take any tough questions from the audience in case they ask that हम इसके साथ क्या करें, क्योंकि ये हमेशा फिक जाता है. Even on my Instagram, I've shared a recipe of a zero waste onion skin powder. It's almost like making your, how you have a stock cube or anything. What is that? That's basically all your skins of all your vegetables जो बच जाते हैं, आप उसको dehydrate करके उसको powder कर सकते हो. So what happens is that becomes like your masala which you can sprinkle like an aromat or something, but naturally. And you can elevate any dish because it has all the flavors, and it has all the salts of all the different vegetables. So these are just some examples, and I hope that these can be helpful.
Thank you. Very, very interesting examples, and I think we are craving for more, so I'll open up to the audience also soon. Moving to you, Chef. In hotel kitchens where consistency is key, how do you build in creative reuse of off-cut, surplus, or ingredients nearing expiry without compromising on guest expectations?
I always share all my experiences with my team. I always, daily briefing is there, but sometime like Sundays when no boss is there, so I have a good time, I call up them over a tea and some snacks. तो मैं उनसे एक चीज़ बहुत शेयर करता हूँ और उनको अच्छी लगती है. लाइक whenever I go to some fair where food is being displayed, एक कॉमन चीज़ आप लोगों ने नोटिस की होगी कि the people coming from Middle East, it's a big part of entire world. तो what they showcase, they just showcase their nuts, some dates, nothing else. ठीक है ना. आप यूरोप की तरफ जाओगे तो दे ओनली शो देयर वाइन्स एंड सम सी फूड्स. ठीक है. इंडिया का एक ऐसा डिस्प्ले होता है जिसमें आप थक जाओगे. इतनी सारी तो टी होती है, इतने सारे स्पाइसेस होते हैं, राइस की इतनी वैरायटी होती है कि मैं हैरान हो जाता हूँ कि राइस इतना बड़ा ग्रेन राइस का इंडिया में वी ग्रो. तो मैं उनसे शेयर करता हूँ कि वी आर लिविंग इन अ बेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. ठीक है. यहाँ पे हर चीज़ अवेलेबल है ना. तो वो बोलते हैं सर फूड वेस्ट बचाना इज़ इम्पॉसिबल. तो मैं कहता हूँ इट्स नॉट इम्पॉसिबल, इट इज़ आई एम पॉसिबल. तो अगर आप अपने अंदर से सोचोगे ना कि हमको कैसे करना, लाइक व्हेन यू आर टेकिंग एन ऑर्डर और व्हेन यू आर डिसाइडिंग बैंक्वेट, लाइक गेस्ट कम्स अप ऑलवेज विद आइडिया कि हमको ये पसंद है, देन वी टॉक टू द गेस्ट लाइक दिस इज़ योर पर्सनल चॉइस बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मास. 1000 people are coming to it, maybe they don't like this particular dish and हम तो उतना ही बनाएंगे जितने सारे गेस्ट आए हैं, बट इट मे गो वेस्ट. तो एक गेस्ट को अंडरस्टैंडिंग देना कि व्हाट गोइंग टू देयर बुफे एंड व्हाट गोइंग टू देयर प्लेट, इट स्टार्ट व्हेन यू स्टार्ट फर्स्ट कन्वर्सेशन. तो वो जो फर्स्ट इम्पैक्ट होता है ना, दैट क्रिएट एन ओवरऑल चेंज व्हाट गोइंग टू बी वेस्ट. और सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है कि व्हेन एवर वी आर ऑर्डरिंग ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, तो जो मैं एक ऑफिशियल बात कर रहा हूँ, जो हमको एक सेट गोल दिया जाता है कि आपका जैसे रॉ मटेरियल कॉस्ट है या फूड कॉस्ट है, दैट हैज़ टू कीप अराउंड 30 एटलीस्ट हर होटल का इतना ही होता है इंक्लूडिंग बेवरेजेस. तो हम लोगों ने अपना इंटरनल रखा हुआ, इट शुड नॉट क्रॉस 27. तो डज नॉट क्रॉस 27 डजेंट मीन कि गेस्ट का एक्सपेक्टेशंस वी हैव टू ब्रेक डाउन, कि हमने सर्टेन थिंग्स दैट कम्स वेरी लाइक इन अ होटल इंडस्ट्री सबसे ज़्यादा जो कॉस्ट जाती है, इट गोज़ इन टू डेयरी विदाउट नोटिसिंग, बिकॉज dairy cost is something which every people in hotel, it's a veg or non-veg, whosoever is the guest, to at least have a tea or a coffee in your hotel. तो वो एक चीज़ है जिसके ऊपर we need to have a control. और छोटे छोटे पैरामीटर्स है, लाइक वी हैव सेट अ गोल ऑफ 27%. तो उस 3% से हम देखते हैं कि एट द एंड हमारे पास बहुत सारा जो चंक है वी हैव सेव्ड, वो या तो वेस्ट जाता या वो स्पॉइल होता. और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि वी daily have a process where this is something I have internally started, like a purchase manager come to my kitchen and he take my round कि मेरे पास क्या है जो, because he is a fresh eye for me, because what I see daily I cannot see, but he comes and he has a fresh eye for my all things. तो वो मेरे को बताता है कि आपके पास ये चीज़ ऐसी है, मुझे लगता है कि it was last time also. और मैं उसको ऑडिट करता हूँ, तो वी कम टू अ कंक्लूजन कि दिस इज़ द थिंग दैट वी आर ऑर्डरिंग अगेन एंड अगेन फ्रॉम योर एंड, बट वी आर नॉट यूजिंग इट. तो क्या होता है, इट इज़ नॉट अ इंडिविजुअल हु डज अ डिफरेंस, इट इज़ ऑल द टीम वर्क एंड योर न्यू आइडियाज दैट यू हैव ऑन अ डेली बेसिस.
Thank you. Ilvika, if I move to you, in your experience, what types of ingredients or dishes mostly get wasted and why?
So I think it depends on the kind of place that you're talking about, and it would differ based on the restaurant, the hotel, or even if you're looking at a cafe or a bakery. In a lot of cafes and bakeries, there is a requirement to bake a lot of goods before. So because you have an entire display, you might get orders that are coming in that you have to dispatch, but I think the main problem that occurs is when the forecasting goes wrong or when there's a sudden drop in supply. And I have a lot of friends running these tiny bakeries, they might have a little, like a small team. They can't really plan production through the day multiple times. So if they are bulk cooking in the morning, that tends to be a slight problem or a challenge for them. I also have worked in hotels in the past, and a lot of all-day dinings, and buffets can be a little bit of a challenge. You have to have your chafing dishes full, or at least full enough for people to kind of come in at any point of time and have food, and that tends to lead to some wastage. And when it comes to standalones, I think perishables can be a little challenging as well. Greens, especially if they're not stored right. So there is an entire problem when it comes to storage and processing, as well as when your forecasting is incorrect, when there are lesser people coming in, and then perishables can give an issue. Like dairy can be one example, greens can be another example, where it can lead to problems. So I think that's what I've seen for the most of it. Yeah, I think that's basically it.
Thank you, Ilvika. Yeah, so we have to be a little bit more careful about our dairy products and our fresh greens at our home and store them properly. Moving to you, Chef Devas, can you share one example of a no-nonsense tip that we can all take back and reduce food waste in our homes? One tip.
Well, it is all about your commitment towards what you are cooking. It is all about how you are taking things forward. We always do byproducts. We always do multiple things during the same day. Whenever we are planning a menu, we use ingredients parallelly into the multiple dishes to make a count of individual ingredient and reduce the wastages. For example, if we are doing a mushroom based dish, I would like to design a menu in such manner that I could utilize few mushroom into the fried rice also. The bunch of the mushroom could be utilized over there, or I could do say about a mushroom volvo wherein the bunch could be utilized, pureed, or a soup. So whenever we are doing something or the other, we should always keep into the mind that single ingredient usage should be stopped, and we could use one single ingredient into multiple dishes so that we can inculcate it. In the kitchens, yes, we can, if we are conscious enough to control the wastage, we can even utilize the skin of the tomatoes. It could be utilized for the garnishes, it could be utilized for doing sun-dried tomato, or we can puree it, pulp it, use it into the soups, and so on and so on. We have got hundreds of things wherein we can utilize one product into various forms to reduce wastages and to also do justice to it.
Thank you. Moving to you, Piyush, beyond the kitchen, what according to you, what kind of institutional or policy support do you think would help reduce food waste?
I think last year I tried to do a tie-up with an NGO to do food donations, but the only question in my mind was, what if they don't serve it immediately? What if they are serving, and I'm giving them at 12 o'clock at night, and they're serving it in the morning, and they're not storing it in the right temperature, and it gets spoiled, and then they serve it to them, and they fall sick, for example. Then that responsibility will come to the restaurant because we have given the food. The NGO will not be responsible for that. So there's no, legally, we have to be protected in that sense. We'll be, then we'll be able to donate more food at the end of the day if we want to.
Yeah, I agree. That's the lack of a good Samaritan law in India, especially in the food donation context, is a gap, and it is critical. I will open up to the audience. Just one last question to you, Chef Gunjan. We want one more recipe from you.
One more recipe.
We can take audience questions until you think, if that's all right.
All right.
So I move to the audience. If there are any questions, please raise your hand, identify yourself and the speaker it is directed to.
Okay, I've come. Let me get the
Yes.
recipe so that I'm also done.
Yes.
Okay, so I remember I've seen this in my house, and that is what is coming to me. We used to have the peas, you use the pea pods, and the skin was peeled and replaced instead of the beans. So they would all be clustered together, finely chopped, and cooked like any beans, like the various beans that we would get. And I can tell you, the pulao out of the skin of the peas was superb. So you just have to, giving you the recipe, peel the skin, cut them up very finely, and saute them in a little desi ghee, of course, hing and zira, little mirch, dhania and haldi, and just add a tinge of water because peas have a lot of water in them itself. So they'll cook in the steam and they'll be a perfect dish for you. And I can tell you, your children will never be able to make out what dishes that they are eating.
Thank you.
Actually, we all need to understand that. It's a similar sort of recipe comes with whenever you're using your bitter gourds also. People, they peel it because the bitterness is on the outer shell. But then if you make a bhurji out of the peel, that also turns nice. You can use it in the stuffing as well. Yes, you can make a chutney as well. So again, creativity goes to X level.
Thank you. I must say, I'm myself saying it's been a very, very interesting session. I got a lot of recipes that I plan to adopt at my kitchen and try on my kid and see if peels work. Thank you so much for taking our time. And with that, we bring this session to a close. I hand back to my colleague Nitya for the closing remarks.
Thank you, Rituja, and thank you, to our panelists and the participants for such a highly engaging session. So basically, while closing this, I'll just mention that what we discussed here, from menu design to staff training to creative reuse and consumer awareness, our chefs have shown that small, thoughtful changes can create a big impact. So before we move on to the next session for today, I would like to request our panelists to please stand up and we would like to have a photo with you along with our Horeca toolkit that we have launched today. And I would like to request the team behind the toolkit to please join us here for the photo.
Where are we looking? Yeah.